Hello and welcome to the Consistory of the Coelc YouTube channel. I'm your host for this video, Reverend Zabel of the St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church located in Dalby, Queensland, Australia. On this video we're going to be continuing my mini-series on Angelology by going through my book Choirs of Angels, a brief study on the kind of angels, and also my children's book on the choirs of angels. Within this mini-series, I've been going through the Pauline angels, that are the choirs of angels mentioned in the Pauline epistles. I've previously discussed the thrones, the dominions, and the principalities, and on today's video, we're going to be discussing the virtues, or powers, depending on how you want to translate that word. So, what is important to note here is that we don't really know much about these angels from Scripture apart from their name. And so much of what is believed about these choirs comes just from church tradition, largely based on kind of an interpretation of their name. And the virtues are a rather unique choir in the sense that their name in Greek is dunamis, meaning power, force, or energy. And so because of this, in tradition, these angels have been connected with power, energy, and forces of nature, and it has been taught that they are the angels that govern and control the forces of nature. Tradition teaches that it is through the virtues that God governs the creation, causing the wind to blow, the sun to shine, and the rain to fall. Everything from weather through to the forces of gravity and heat, the Catholics taught were governed by God, but governed via the virtues. Essentially, God is in charge of the whole universe. God is the one who controls the machine, yet the virtues are kind of like cogs within that machine. They make the sun to shine, the rain to fall, the wind to blow. This was the church tradition. And Martin Luther, as someone in the medieval world, also held to this position, believing that things like plagues and famines and bad weather and storms was caused by demonic angels. And as I mentioned in my previous video, it is interesting that when you discuss these 5 choirs mentioned by St. Paul, the thrones and the dominions are only ever mentioned in reference to good angels, whereas the principalities, the powers, and the virtues are mentioned in reference to both the good angels and the demonic angels. And so if the choir of virtues were in charge of weather per se, then we could assume that the good virtues are the cause of good weather and the demonic virtues are the cause of bad weather. And as I said, this is kind of the interpretation that Martin Luther himself took, teaching that whenever there's like a bad storm, that's caused by Satan through his demonic angels. And so in my children's book, I've got here that I've got the virtues, the good virtues. They help create good weather. They cause the wind to blow, the sun to shine, and rain to fall. However, when we turn to the section on demons, there's the demonic virtues who create bad storms and send bad weather. They cause natural disasters like flooding and bushfires and cyclone and other deadly weather events. So that's kind of a theory from the church tradition based solely on the name of this choir of angels. Their name means force, energy, power in that sense. And so the church, trying to understand what this choir did, said, well, their name means energy and force. Their name basically means the forces of nature, so then they must somehow be connected to the forces of nature. And this is not directly taken from Holy Scripture. It is a interpretation of Holy Scripture based on the fact that Scripture is largely silent on what these choirs do. So I've been your host for this video, Reverend Zabel. Hope you can join us again next time as we discuss these choirs of angels and finish with the last choir of angels mentioned in the Pauline epistles.